The desert stretched on forever, ocean of red sand, sun-bleached rock, and silence so deep it felt like a graveyard. Wind danced through lonely canyons, carrying ancient whispers across miles of unforgiving land. 2 travelers, Lone Coyote Pass, meant death. But to Calder Hayes, it was simply part of the land he'd been born to protect. Calder rode tall in his saddle, the early morning sun throwing gold on his weathered face. His black stallion Bandit trotted steadily along the ridge. Calder's sharp eyes scanned the horizon, always alert, always ready. He'd learned long ago that the desert only looked empty. It held secrets, danger, and the ghosts of more than one broken man. But nothing prepared him for what he found that day. Not 50 yards off the trail, something lay half buried in the dust-blue fabric, fluttering weakly in the wind, like a flag signaling surrender. Calder's breath hitched. A bad sign. A human-sized bad sign. He spurred Bandit forward. As he approached, the shape became clear. An unconscious woman, sprawled on her side, her chest rising faintly. Her dress was torn at the hip, stained with dirt and blood. Her boots were worn almost to ruin, as if she'd been running for days. Calder jumped from his horse so fast he barely hit the ground. "Ma'am," he said, his voice low, gentle. "Can you hear me?" Her head turned a fraction, eyes barely slitted open. "Help, please." Then she collapsed, completely weak, fever-hot, and bleeding. Calder didn't hesitate. He lifted her into his arms. She weighed nothing, like a whisper of life. Whoever had done this to her, Calder swore then and there, they'd answer for it. He placed her on his horse and held her steady as he rode hard toward his ranch. The storm brewing inside him was far more dangerous than anything the desert could conjure. The Hayes Ranch sat nestled between tall canyon walls, protected by nature itself. Calder brought the woman inside and laid her on his bed, the only soft place in the house. He worked quickly, cleaning her wound and packing it with herbs. Hours passed. Finally, the woman stirred again, letting out a weak cry of pain. Calder knelt beside her. "You're safe. You're at my ranch. Name's Calder Hayes." Her eyes fluttered open, big, stormy gray, almost too bright for someone so exhausted. Her voice cracked. "My name is Lilah Mercer." Her lips trembled as she tried to sit up. Calder gently pushed her shoulder down. "Easy. You're hurt bad." She nodded, swallowing hard. "I know." Her breath trembled. "They shot me." Calder tensed. "Who?" Lilah's eyes filled with panic, the kind that lived deep inside someone who had been hunted. "The men who killed my father." Over the next few days, Lilah drifted in and out of sleep, fever rising and falling. Calder didn't leave her side except to tend to the animals. One evening, while he was cooling her forehead with a damp cloth, she whispered, "My father, he was a map maker. He found something in the desert. Something valuable." Calder arched a brow. "Valuable how?" She blinked weakly. "Treasure, land rights. Maybe both. I don't know. But whatever it was, men would kill for it. And they think you have it." She nodded, eyes glassy with fear and pain. "My father gave me something before he died. Told me to run. Said they'd chase me, but not to let them catch me." Calder felt a storm rumble in his chest. "What did he give you, Lilah?" She hesitated, her hand inching toward her dress pocket, where a shape was sewn beneath the cloth. "I'll show you when I can breathe without pain." Calder nodded. "Whenever you're ready." As Lilah healed, she learned pieces of who Calder was. He'd lost nearly everyone: his mother when he was young, his father a few years later, and his brother in a mining accident that still haunted him. He lived alone on the ranch now, with only Bandit and the land fork company. "Does it ever get lonely?" she asked one night. Calder paused at the door, surprised by the question. "Sometimes," he admitted, "but I've learned to live with it." Lilah's voice softened. "I don't think you were meant to be alone." That sentence hit Calder deeper than he expected. He cleared his throat, nodding toward her bandages. "You should rest." But that night, sleep didn't find him easily. Calder woke in the middle of the night to Bandit's frantic neighing. Something wasn't right. He went outside with his rifle and found tracks fresh, and not his. Someone had been close, too close. He rushed inside to find Lilah awake, sitting up in bed, her breathing fast. I heard them, she whispered. They're here. Calder's jaw clenched. I won't let them touch you. Her hand reached out small, trembling. Calder, I'm scared. He took her hand gently, squeezing it. You don't have to be. As the days passed, their connection deepened quietly, naturally. One evening, after supper, Lilah limped outside to sit on the porch. Calder joined her, leaning against the railing, watching the desert turn purple in the twilight. Lilah wrapped her arms around herself. When my father was dying, he told me something, she said softly. He said there's more strength in being loved than in being armed. I thought he was wrong, but now she looked at Calder. He swallowed. I ain't sure I'm the loving type, Lilah, he said quietly. She smiled faintly. You don't have to say much. The way you care speaks for you. Calder looked away, feeling something dangerous and warm build in his chest. Something he hadn't felt in years. When he met her eyes again, he knew she saw it too. At dawn, everything changed. The sound of galloping hooves shattered the morning calm. Calder rushed outside. 5 riders, the same bastards who shot Lilah. Their leader, a tall man with a scar dragging across his cheek, raised a shotgun. Hayes, he shouted. Lilah, weak but determined, appeared behind Calder, gripping the doorframe. He won't touch her, Calder growled. Gunfire erupted. Calder shot one rider clean off his horse. Lilah, despite her injury, grabbed a spare rifle and fired from behind him, taking down another. Bullets smashed windows. Horses screamed. Dust filled the air. Calder's voice thundered. Lilah, get inside. Not without you, she shouted back. Together, they fought with fierce determinations. To people who refused to break. At last, the surviving outlaws retreated, the leader screaming threats as he fled. This ain't over, Hayes. Calder held Lilah as she collapsed against him, shaking. It's all right, he murmured into her hair. I've got you. And for a long moment, they didn't move. Later that night, Lilah sat on the porch, wrapped in a blanket. Calder brought her warm tea and sat beside her. You saved my life today, he said softly. She looked up at him, eyes shimmering. You saved mine first. Calder reached up and touched her cheek, brushing away a stray lock of hair. Lilah. She leaned forward, resting her forehead against his. You don't have to say it, she whispered. Just stay. His hand slid to the back of her neck, and he kissed her. Slow, deep, gentle, full of emotion neither knew how to speak yet. The world seemed to hold its breath. When the kiss ended, Lilah whispered, I don't want to run anymore. You won't, Calder promised. Not alone. When Lilah was strong enough, she finally revealed what her father had given her. She carefully sliced open the seam inside her dress pocket and pulled out a folded paper rolled brittle and stained with blood. A map, not of a town or a trail, but of hidden land, rich in silver and fresh water enough to make any man powerful. Calder stared. This is why they want you. Lilah nodded. My father discovered it by accident. He refused to give it to them, so they killed him. Calder folded the map gently. Then we end this, he said. For him and for you. They planned. They prepared. And one morning they rode into the canyon valley, where the outlaws made camp. Calder, armed with fury. Lilah, armed with courage. The battle was brutal, and fierce gunfire echoing through the canyon walls. Lilah held her own beside Calder, proving she was far stronger than her fear. The scarred leader aimed his gun at Lilah. You should have died with your old man. Calder fired a split second before he could pull the trigger. The leader fell. Silence. Real deep silence. It was over. Weeks later, the ranch felt different. Safer. Softer. Warmer, somehow. Lilah often helped Calder feed the animals, her laugh brightening the mornings. Calder found himself smiling more than he had in years. One evening, under a gold sunset, she turned to him. Calder, she said softly. Yes. Where do I go from here? He took her hand gently. Well, he said, stepping closer. I was hoping maybe you'd stay. She smiled, eyes shining. I think I was always meant to. He pulled her close, their foreheads touching as the wind swept across the land. Together, they stood as the sky changed colors to hearts that had been bruised, hunted, and nearly broken. Now, healing, growing, learning to love, and in the vast quiet of the western twilight, they finally found home in each other. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Western stories.